We received the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any additions or corrections that need to be made to the minutes? If not, I entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
A motion from Kevin and a second from Dave. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Would you pass this down to Alan? Is that Alan, please? First thing on the agenda is ordinance number 2021-32. It's an ordinance providing for a uniform code for traffic upon the public streets of the city of Jasper, Indiana. Could I have a motion to consider the ordinance for one reading only?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Nancy,
I'll second it. Paul?
second from Paul. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Could I have a motion to have the ordinance read in full or by title only?
Make the motion to read by title only, please, Mayor.
I have a motion from Paul,
I'll second that.
second from Nancy. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Would the city attorney please read ordinance number 2021-32 by title only?
Ordinance number 2021-32, an ordinance providing for a uniform code for traffic upon the public streets of the city of Jasper, Indiana, amending Jasper Municipal Code Section 9.40.030.
Okay, could I have a motion to pass and adopt ordinance number 2021-32?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Nancy. Do I have a second?
Can we discuss this, or do we?
Well, we will after we
Okay, I'm not.
have no second. Then I guess we need to discuss it before we go any farther. Kevin?
Okay. The Portersville Roads listed on here.
Yep.
I think that should be a separate discussion. I read in the highlights of the ordinance that they're going to recommend that it be 25 miles an hour all the way out to 47th Street and then 25 miles an hour out to the highway. And I'm not for that. If it goes into this, then it automatically falls under this ordinance. I'm okay with hospital districts. The school districts, I'm not okay with. I think the 25 mile an hour speed limit during the school hours, like Huntingburg does it in theirs in the morning and in the afternoon, it makes sense to me. But when they're not in school, the speed limit should be at least 30 or 35. Nobody's going to drive 25 out Portersville Road or 47th Street. So it doesn't make any sense to me. And so
I'll add to that in the fact that I've had people say that 25 around the hospital is not a good idea either, basically for the same reason that Kevin is saying, is that it says 25, but they're probably going to go 30, because
It says 20.
yeah, and I'm saying that it should probably stay at 20 if it's at 20 now, rather than going up to 25. And I got that from input from people. So
you,
my thoughts.
I do take the 47th Street from 231, I guess that would
to Portersville Road.
best to Portersville Road a lot. And to make that, currently I think that's 40 or 45. I'll probably get caught speeding on that road.
Yeah.
I think that's a little tight on.
I would agree.
I drove that stretch today in anticipation of this discussion, and I drove at 25 the entire way, and it was painstaking. It's a long stretch.
Are you thinking 25 during school period or school hours?
School hours.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that makes sense.
This person's.
Also, that's some other, well, that's.
Well, I think, going back to the 25 in the side of the public works, I think most of the residential areas, I think, in town are 25. It's whether, is it residential area or not? On 47th Street, I don't feel it is. Portersville Road, once you get past 47th Street, then there are, residents on both sides, so.
And that's
But
25.
You're already at the stop sign, so gearing that, it's pretty easy to stay at 25 then when you've already come to a dead stop, but from Newton Street to Portersville Road or 231, that's tough. That's the only thing I didn't care for.
On 47th Street. Yeah, and that's the biggest change. What we were seeing, and we talked about this quite a bit in the Board of Public Works, because the Safety Committee has recommended this, but what we're seeing is we would come into a 25-mile-an-hour speed zone coming from the west to the east before you hit the stop sign at Portersville Road. So it reduces down to 25 before you hit the stop sign. And then it goes back up, and then it reduces down again.
This is on Portersville Road, though.
No, this is on 47th Street.
Oh, 47th?
So what we had was variables in speed on these stretches. And what we got from the Safety Committee was, because it's a school zone area on Portersville Road, maintain 25 mile an hour through there, the entire.
But I'm saying that's good for the school, but that's not good in the evening. People they're not going to.
There's no limitation to when school activities will take place or when people are.
I don't think it's a problem driving the 25 now. They're at the schools only because we got the 2 extra stop signs. So that's going
That slows them down.
to slow them down. So I don't have any problem with the 25 miles an hour on Portersville Road, but
And I'm just explaining how the discussion we had in the Board of Public Works. So that was where the recommendation was, to keep it consistent on Portersville Road.
And keep in mind that I think much of the recommendation is based on the fact that throughout the city, residential areas are 25 miles per hour.
You know what? Nobody drives that.
Well, but
I mean, we want our police officers to stop everybody and give them a ticket. That's fine.
I'm just telling you what they were basing their recommendation on.
Consistency in the neighborhoods. And really, Portersville Road is very much residential, even north of the 47th Street. It's changed a lot out in that area.
I'm just telling you, you're not going to get people to drive 25 miles an hour past that second stop sign once they go out the Portersville Road. So however you want to address that, you can address it, I guess. But
Well, and that's why we're having the discussion, and I appreciate that.
47th was also my concern, a highway from Portersville Road and coming through there, that,
it's mine as well, Paul.
25 mile an hour, once we develop the west side, or the north side of that road, and the fields between the mobile home community and Bernstrasse, then I think we could come back and revisit that one. But until we get that filled in, my opinion is we probably ought to let that one be.
And I will tell you that the reason that came up is not only because of the inconsistency, but also because of calls that we've gotten from people that live on that stretch,
Complaining about
people going too fast. So,
And I looked at each intersection too when I drove it, and there's good visibility at all the stop signs, so it's not like.
When you were in Board of Public Works, they didn't talk about any accident reports, the frequency of accidents at the Portersville Road and 47th Street intersection. Is that a problematic area?
I don't remember it.
Accidents, it was more of calls the city receives of people speeding in those areas,
those have been the complaint.
present too.
And on Portersville Road, they're just often walkers.
Yeah.
So, our options here are to table it and look for some revisions.
I think I would make,
I would, if you all want to table it, that's completely your prerogative. I would say that after that, you ought to reach out to the people who are on the safety committee and talk to Jeff and Chad and Nathan and get their day-to-day input.
Renee, is there any reason that they couldn't have reached out to us? Because I read the ordinance, it showed up on the, but I didn't know this was even being discussed until I saw the ordinance. And when did that come, Alan? Was it today or yesterday or? Friday, okay. I'd much rather had that conversation with him, but
And when was the Board of Public Works, when did we address that? It's been a while.
It's been a while. If you feel strongly about the 47th Street, perhaps that could be removed and that further discussed or reevaluated by the safety committee or something like that. Just throwing that out as an option.
Yeah.
Leave the Portersville Road in.
I'm for 25 in front of the school during school hours. But I think it should be raised after those hours.
I can see with the extra,
Not going to drive 25.
yeah, they might not, but again, I think the only thing I'm disagree with is 47th Street. The others I'm okay with. But, because there are a lot of people that walk that road, and it's,
And there's a lot of school activities of an evening, so as the mayor said, it's hard to differentiate between when things are going on, especially with the elementary school there now. There's stuff going on all the time.
And there's 2 stop signs there, Ann. There's a stop sign at the elementary, and there's a stop sign at the middle school. So people are stopped. They're not, that part there, they'll be going 25, because you're going to go 40 and jam. Yeah, because of the stop signs. That helped that
I'm
problem.
referring to the hospital and school districts, just all the time being that 25.
Renee, did they kind of imply that it was, this may sound like a silly question, but is it the speed itself or the inconsistencies of going 25 and then up to 40 and 25 that, are a combination of both? Or?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. I mean, the fact is that is now becoming a much more densely populated area from a residential perspective. And again, when we put streets in, generally in neighborhoods, they're 25 miles per hour. And so the idea was with the hospitals and the school districts, let's instead, we took those exceptions out. You see that Dorbit Street, 5th Street, to Dave's earlier point, some of those were identified as 20. So we removed those and we'll make those 25. But then the others, 47th and Portersville Road, we're just recognizing that these are now more densely populated, and so they should be 25.
I would still like to see the hospital area stay 20 because people do have to park across the street rather than in a lot, because a lot will be full a lot of times too, and they're parking across the street, got to, walk across there to get to the hospital. So to me, the 20 sounds safe to me around the hospital.
I'll tell you that one iteration of this at the beginning of our conversation took us going to each school and all around the hospital and making all of those areas 20. And then we pulled back and said, wait a minute, that's probably not going to work. So that's just the history of it.
Yeah. Well, when I drive down the street, if I see a speed sign, I usually look and see what it says there too. So, I don't know why we can't keep a road a certain speed and then other speeds myself. Mm-hmm. So, that's my opinion in the whole thing there too.
There tends to be a lot of the younger drivers out north now, and the speed. Are they 5 miles per hour with the speed limit? Are they 20 miles per hour with the speed limit? And the younger kids are going to fly through there. And I look at that. If you post the speed limit on there, it's not going to matter much to them. They're going to speed through there anyway.
Phil, if you want to see something that's really interesting, go to the high school at 3 o'clock when they get out of school. Mm-hmm. We have police out there and everything, and you got to watch out because they drive out of that thing probably 30 miles an hour making a curve. It's unbelievable. And then they can't stop that. I sat there and watched them one day, the complete thing, and how fast they come out of there. There's almost wheels squealing from some of the kids. It's not good.
So I'm going to bring us back, and what actions are we allowed to take on this at this point in time? Just
Well,
put it down or
yeah, you can do that.
We have not got a second, though, to vote.
That's right.
So if we don't have a second to vote on it, does it get, what? Does it just die?
It dies. Mhm.
Okay,
Somebody can vote to table it, or somebody can vote to revise it and make changes.
I think I'd like to table it. I would like to talk to some of those guys about that. I agree. Just see what they say about it, because again, that's a tough one, because when you reduce the speed limit and like you're coming from the, would be the west, I just can't imagine, I just think that's going to be, just hitting the brakes, literally, the speed limit through there. And I don't know if anybody's going to drive that speed limit. It's almost like a sporting event. When you go to a sporting event, the intent is to move the traffic out of the arena area, and then once you're out into the roads, the speed limit picks back up again. And I don't know, when you get further away from it, I don't know if that's as important.
So just to make sure I'm clear, on 47th Street, coming from west, headed east,
Okay?
if you are west of Portersville Road, you do hit a 25 mile per hour speed zone. Where the city limits start, it turns to 25.
Where the road gets wider.
Well, but there's residents on both sides again.
That's right.
So that we're not changing.
Yeah. That's already 25.
That's right.
And even probably north of the Portersville, that's 25.
so Phil, do I take that as a motion to table then?
Yes.
So I have a motion to table. Do I have a second to table? I have a second to table from Chad. Discussion. All in favor of tabling, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion is procedure ordinance 2021-32 is tabled. And so we'll allow some time for you to do some investigation, talking to the safety committee, and
I'll reach out to them and let them know.
Can you also let us know how many accidents have taken place?
thank you. Next item is ordinance number 2021-33. Okay. Ordinance number 2021-33. This is an ordinance to transfer appropriations for the city of Jasper, Indiana for the remainder of the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021. Could I ask for a motion to consider the ordinance for one reading only?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
I have a motion from Paul,
I'll second.
a second from Kevin. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Could I have a motion to have the ordinance read in full or by title only?
I'll make a motion for title only.
I have a motion from Nancy for title only, and a second from Phil. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Will the city attorney please read ordinance number 2021-33 by title only?
Ordinance number 2021-33, an ordinance to transfer appropriations for the city of Jasper, Indiana for the remainder of the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021.
Could I have a motion to pass and adopt ordinance number 2021-33?
I'll make that motion.
Kevin?
I'll second.
Second from Dave. Further discussion?
Just a brief explanation, Alan.
Yeah, what this is each department transfers money from one account that they have to another account. And if you look at, like, the police department, taking $35,000 out of salaries and wages and putting it in various other ones. The largest one is equipment, which they had cars that they had to outfit, and they actually had cars they bought in 2020 outfitted in 2021. So that's the reason that one increased so much.
I assume we had room in the salary and wage cap to
Yeah,
those in our budgets? Okay.
each of these, we made sure there's enough money in each one.
Okay.
The other large one is the storm sewer contractual services. They're actually going to take and put a wastewater line through a culverts that they have, and they'll take it from materials that they were going to do the roads. So he's asked that they move it from materials for the roads to contractual services for the culvert pipeline, or wastewater line.
So all the transfers are made within the departments.
Yeah, within the departments, yeah.
Budget's just a reshuffling of how the money's being used within the department.
Kyle's here, in theirs, they have 55,000 for buildings and structures. What is that, Kyle? And it's Kyle's birthday today, everybody.
33.
Thank you.
Could think of a better place to spend it, couldn't you?
This place is popping. So, the transfer there is for what hopefully will be used for roof replacement at the Jasper Arts Center, the other facility.
I just thought since you're here, see what it was.
Yep. We received a grant through the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant that is covering our utility payments for the last couple of months and will into next year as well. So that money is coming from that line into this building and structures line.
And then when you said hopefully for a roof, then you would probably encumber these funds to next year's budget at the next meeting.
Yes, yeah. So we ran into a little bit of a snag getting all the bid specs and stuff put together on it, but we've got that now, and we hope we're able to get that moved forward here.
Good, you had some room with the utilities to move it. Thank you.
Which is kind of a pleasant surprise, I think, with the Tin Clark Cultural Center coming underway with the addition of the old art center. You know, that we were able to, we had budgeted more, but more effective use of the facility. So I've got a motion from Kevin and a second from Dave on this. Any other questions? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance 2021-33 is passed, and this does not, it does require
Signatures.
signatures from, start by passing it your way, Dave. Okay. And it'll make its way around. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 2021-34. And this is an ordinance, the Common Council of the City of Jasper, Indiana, amending rates and charges for the customers of the Jasper Municipal Electric Utility. Could I have a motion to consider the ordinance for one reading only?
Make that motions, Mayor.
Paul?
Second.
Second from Nancy. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to have the ordinance read in full or by title only.
Make the motion to read by title only, please, Mayor.
I have a motion from Paul for title only.
I will second.
Second from Chad. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Would the city attorney please read ordinance number 2021-34 by title only?
Ordinance number 2021-34, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Jasper, Indiana, amending rates and charges for customers of the Jasper Municipal Electric Utility, amending Jasper Municipal Code, Section 11.08.060, Green Energy Program.
Could I have a motion to pass and adopt ordinance number 2021-34?
So moved.
From John?
Second.
From Nancy. Further discussion?
I will just say that when we passed the first ordinance last month, think it was last month.
Yeah.
We were under the impression from IMPA that this rate would not change very often, maybe annually, which is true, but they didn't tell us was that they were getting ready to change it. So they changed the rate, as you can see, from .00075 to .003 per kilowatt hour. So we're just a pass-through on this. And, Alan, there is a typo I noticed in the title. It should be section 11.08, not dash 11, so.
And we had one request, one company come in and request that at this point, to this point? Okay.
And they were under the impression originally of the lower rate, and so we went back to them right away to make sure that this, we're putting this in place because of the request from our customers, so. And I don't know where we've ended up, but I know they have the choice of going across all facilities in Jasper and/or select facilities, so they were trying to determine where they were going to go with it. I'm not sure they've made that determination yet. Any other discussion? Okay, I have a motion from John and a second from Nancy. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Ordinance 34 has passed. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 2021-35. And this is an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Jasper, Indiana, establishing fees for activities of the Jasper Department of Park and Recreation, amending Jasper Municipal Code Section 1.15.010. This ordinance is basically increasing the various rates of the golf course. It's available for one reading only procedure. Could I have a motion for one reading only procedure?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
I have a motion from Paul.
I'll second.
I have a second from Phil. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Could I have a motion to have the ordinance read in full or by title only?
I move that we read it by title only.
I have a motion from Chad.
I'll second.
I have a second from Paul. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, would the city attorney please read ordinance number 2021-35 by title only?
Ordinance number 2021-35, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Jasper, Indiana, establishing fees for activities of the Jasper Department of Parks and Recreation, amending Jasper Municipal Code Section 1.15.010.
Could I have a motion to pass and adopt ordinance number 2021-35?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Kevin,
I'll second.
second from Nancy. Tom, I think you ought to come forward for discussion. You want to highlight what the process was for?
Sure. So we had analyzed different courses in southern Indiana, which we sent to you all, but we didn't just do this because we wanted to keep up with them. We have to keep up with the inflationary costs as well. I mean, fuel prices are going up, fertilizer prices are going up. It takes a lot to run a golf course, right? So, but we wanted to make sure we did our homework fully. That's why we did the comparison of the number of golf courses that we had sent you as well. Not a dramatic change, but
It's like $5.
yeah, it's not much at all. So, a couple bucks in green fees and memberships.
Just out of curiosity, there's a lot of seniors that play up there. I mean, I think it's a little bit tough for them. That's quite a bit of people playing up there, I think, from what I've seen when I play up there. There's quite a bit of seniors up there. Everybody feel comfortable with that? I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like it's going from $13 to $15 for a 9-hole.
Well, when do the seniors play, though? If they play during the week, it's only $10.
Yeah, if there's a senior rate
Okay.
for the week.
A week?
And that's Monday through Friday.
Okay.
So we actually added a senior rate for an 18 holes as well. It's only $10 for 9.
Okay, I see.
15 for
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Tom, was there anything else you added that wasn't included in the regular, what you had before?
I'm trying to think if there were
Juniors,
other juniors.
Juniors.
Right,
an 18-hole.
that's right. We have the forward tees now, so we have the junior rate on there as well.
And then we eliminated all of the sort of specialty passes, and now we just have the 3, individual, junior, and family.
Simplified.
Tom, I like how you've embedded the tax in the cost, or in the price. Were we doing that previously?
Yes.
We just didn't show it.
I can't take credit for that.
Well, you could try.
Were there any,
At the end of December, can we get a report on the golf course as far as revenue, expenses?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just at the end of December?
Been a great year, record year for us.
Yeah, I thought it has been.
were there any features from any of the other golf courses that you felt like you would want to implement in the future?
As far as?
Unlimited cart pass or?
Certain ones that we had as well, we eliminated them. We simplified. We've had a number of things that we've had on our list, or on the ordinance that we've just eliminated just because it's too confusing, not only for the players, but for the people that work at the pro shop as well.
And these prices are very reasonable.
They are.
Eric and his team have just done an amazing job in 2 years or what.
They really, really have.
Great job.
I had some people from Indianapolis a week ago commented to me that they've come down to play Sultan's Run and the city course, Buffalo Trace. And they put a lot of quality on the Buffalo Trace course as well. You know, the Sultan's Run gets a lot of notoriety across the region, and they felt like we had probably one of the best municipal courses you'll find anywhere.
The folks out there work exceptionally hard, and they take a lot of pride in their work out there as well.
So you might consider having that monthly report that you have at the Parks Department meeting just sent out to the Common Council?
Sure, we can send that to you. It has rounds played and a monthly breakdown of.
Was that the one that you had provided prior to budget time?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So,
That, I think an annual report, we'll have something year-end report from the arts, from Park and Rec. It's really something we kind of need to compare our numbers from previous years and see if we're making progress, so
absolutely.
appreciate that. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Are there any other questions? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Really appreciate the schedule coming with that. Ordinance number 2021-26 is next, 36. It's an ordinance affixing salaries and wages for the elected officials and the civil city employees of the city of Jasper, Indiana for the year 2022. It amends ordinance number 2021-30. This makes the art department event coordinator a full-time position and increases the maximum hourly wage for several permanent part-time positions at the Parks Department. Increases the men's weight training instructor compensation, and it also adds the overlapping positions language. It's available for one reading only procedure.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for one reading only, please.
I have a motion for Paul for one reading only.
I'll second it.
I have a second from Dave. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, could I have a motion to have the ordinance read in full or by title only?
Move to read by title only?
Kevin for title only.
I'll second.
Got Chad on the second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, would the city attorney please read ordinance number 2021-36 by title only?
An ordinance affixing salaries, ordinance number 2021-36. An ordinance affixing salaries and wages for the elected officials and the civil city employees of the city of Jasper, Indiana for the year 2022. Amending ordinance number 2021-30.
Could I ask for a motion to pass and adopt ordinance number 2021-36?
I'll make that motion.
Nancy?
I'll second. Paul?
Paul. Further discussion?
I like that part about the overlapping positions, allowing someone to still work and train in someone while still being paid. I think that's a good move.
4, but copy and pasted it. Omitted that for some reason, I don't know why, but I didn't see it when I read over it, so, yeah.
Any other questions on it? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 2021-36 has passed. The next item is ordinance number 2021-37. It's an ordinance of the Common Council, City of Jasper, Indiana, establishing fees for activities of the Jasper Department of Parks and Recreation. Jasper Municipal Code Section 1.15.020. This ordinance amends the train depot rental. It's available for one reading only procedure. Could I have a motion for one reading only?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Paul.
I'll second.
Second from Phil. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Do I have a motion to have the ordinance read in full or by title only?
I'll make a motion to read by title only.
Nancy for title only.
I'll second.
Second from Dave. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
City Attorney, please read ordinance number 2021-37 by title only.
Ordinance number 2021-37, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Jasper, Indiana, establishing fees for activities of the Jasper Department of Parks and Recreation, amending Jasper Municipal Code Section 1.15.020.
Could I have a motion to pass and adopt 2021-37?
So moved.
John?
I'll second it.
Second from Dave.
So when we were going over our rentable facilities, the depot is one of those that gets rented often, not only for parties, but for meetings as well. We have had a meeting rate, a half-day meeting rate, or 3 hours or less, and we've had a party rate, but we've never had, if you have an all-day meeting, what do you get charged? Parties continue to have more trash. There's more risk, if you will, involved with a party than there is a meeting. So it's not quite right to have the all-day meeting rate be the same as a party rate. Therefore, we decided that there was a void there, needed to fill that, hence the all-day meeting rate that we came up with of $65. 65.
Versus?
It was 80 for a party. It's 50 for a meeting 3 hours or less.
So that's really the change in this, is adding that one category.
Right.
We had a void and
We were offering.
Alan, what are these little dealies here?
Footnotes?
The 2 and 4.
2 and 4.
To and from your footnotes.
Get your footnote at the bottom.
Tom, do you have a clearly defined policy that defines an all-day meeting as opposed to a party?
as far as what a party is versus a meeting? No, not really. We have, we ask if it's a meeting or if it's a party when they call in, so.
I think that might be on the contract.
I might recommend
it's-
developing a policy.
And it probably is on the contract.
I think it might.
Okay.
You could just have a checkbox on there, is it a,
Because if they tell you it's an all-day meeting, And you walk in and say, wow, that's a party.
Right to party. Sure.
I think usually when people rent it, I can't speak for Janessa, but people probably say, I want to rent the depot for a bridal shower, or, they're kind of specific when.
They are very specific when they do it. Just a party. They're
How many do you hold comfortably?
44.
44 people? Yeah, that's a very reasonable price, really, but,
It really is.
I mean, just say you had it at your house or something, until you go out and rent tables and chairs and all that, and have to drag them back and forth. It's reasonable.
We also had inconsistencies within our department. If somebody would call and they said, we want an all-day meeting, sometimes they would get charged the $50 rate because it's a meeting. Sometimes they get charged the $80 rate because it's an all-day event. So this fills that void.
And we'll give it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Ordinance 2021-37 is passed. Next is ordinance number 2021-38. An ordinance to rezone certain property within the jurisdictional limits of the Planning Commission of the City of Jasper, Indiana. This ordinance rezones the property owned by K.L. Crodel LLC, John D. and Jennifer L. Richardson, and Arthur B. and Ethel Rita Knies, known as Victory Villa 6th Edition. Lots 28 through 37 along the east side of Newton Street from R2, which is single-family residential, to B1, neighborhood business. The Plan Commission gave a favorable recommendation. So, could I have a motion to consider the ordinance for one reading only?
I'll make that motion.
Motion,
A second.
Chad, and a second from Nancy. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Could I have a motion to have the ordinance read in full or by title only?
Move to read by title only.
Kevin for title only.
I'll second. Paul?
Paul, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Would the city attorney please read ordinance number 2021-38 by title only?
Ordinance number 2021-38, an ordinance to rezone certain property within the jurisdictional limits of the Planning Commission of the City of Jasper, Indiana.
Could I have a motion to pass and adopt ordinance number 2021-38?
I'll make that motion. Or, go on, Chad.
I'll second Nancy's motion.
Okay, motion from Nancy and a second by Chad. Further discussion?
So a brief history, they came into the Plan Commission this last month, presented from Karen's law office, Dr. Richardson's office, and Art and Ethel Knies of Little Bedford Stone Home next to, wanting to take them from residential to more business applicable. We actually have one small holdout island that is still R2, and then the next Bud Financial Services goes back to a B1. So, and the Bud people own the rental home, or the home that's in between, just did not want to come along with this for the time. So it passed with unanimous decision at our meeting.
And I'm guessing that like Karen's office and Dr. Richardson, they probably have a variance to operate their business in a business
Yep.
zone.
Yep.
And so now it would just be zoned business and can a resident, I was wondering, can a residential also be in a B1?
Think we come back in with a special exception?
I'd have to look. I can't remember what kind of residential is allowed. There might be some, like upstairs with a business on the main floor, or multifamily. I can't remember.
And curious, I mean, will Art and Ethel keep living there, or are they selling their property? Because I don't want to kick them out of their house by a zoning.
This wouldn't.
That was her intent.
They're out. I know.
I think the answer to the question is it can be either or, used as a residence or used as a business within a residential area. So, like Paul said, we invited Derek Budd to join in the co-petitioning but he decided not to include that sole house, which will be residential zoned. It's rented, it's owned by the corporation Renbud, which owns the business that he's operating his financial services out of. So it was his choice not to come aboard. We didn't pursue it. You know, he can do what he wants to with his own property.
And
But
where they operate their business, is that zoned B1?
that,
The office
yes,
was Zone B1, then it's R2 next to. Yeah.
yes,
They'll come on sometime.
at some time in the future is what I thought. But we just asked for zoning to reflect the current uses. Now, I'm vacated, but someone else could come in and do the same sort of current use, residence used as a business.
And in my recollection, before you get to your residence, there's a house kind of up on a hill. That's probably still zoned residential.
That's true, it's across the street.
Only property much besides Kleesner's maybe that's not zoned.
I think one time I counted from the police post all the way out,
Oh, yeah.
there were 8 zoned residences. It's really a small number, you know, because there aren't very many people living in a house anymore. And Art and Ethel were completely fine with going with the rezoning because, you know, they're getting up in age and will probably want to liquidate their property shortly. Any other questions?
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Any other questions, discussion? Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Number 2021-38 is passed.
Nancy, I looked it up. It is dwelling secondary on upper floors above a retail or office, dwelling single-family, and dwelling accessory. Those are all allowed.
I thought maybe they were since it was B1.
Okay, with that, is there any other business needs to come before?
I actually have a few comments, and it's just information. The first item is to let you know that the UDO is undergoing its annual process of review, and we have about 6 or 7 items that are coming forward to the Plan Commission at its December meeting, assuming, or whichever of those, if any, are passed, that will be coming to you all in December as well as a potential change to the Unified Development Ordinance, so you can be looking for that. I indicated in our monthly memo, but just wanted to give you a reminder that the municipal code is now online. So if you go to the city's website and you scroll down to the municipal code icon, click on that, and that will take you to the location of the code. And keep in mind that there are 2 separate documents. One is all of the code sections except the UDO, and the other is the UDO, which is in a searchable PDF format, so that the graphics could still be visualized. And then last but not least, the Courthouse Square project. Today, we got the 50% construction documents. So I'll be sending those out to everybody, along with another email that is part of a discussion about the marking for traffic on the square. So you'll see in the construction documents, you'll see that the markings reflect a typical traffic circle, which is not what we currently have. That's not permanent, so that's part of the discussion. Anyway, I just didn't want everybody to see that and panic and think that we've made a decision to change the markings. There's a discussion, but currently that's what it shows. And that is all I have.
Renee, I'll say the Muni Code is a major improvement. I looked at it today. I liked it. Looks a little weird on the phone. I had to go an extra length over to find it, but massive improvement.
Great, thank you. To that point, if there are any problems that you run into, please let me know, because I know that I've identified several things that I think we need to change, where the link takes us, to make sure that people have as easy a time as possible finding things. So if you ever come across something that you think is a mistake or should be easier, whatever, just let me know and we'll try to get that changed.
Will we be posting proposed ordinances on the Muni Code? Is there a spot for that?
Not proposed. We can. There's an extra charge for that.
Oh.
But the new ordinances will be updated on a monthly basis. So once tonight's meeting is over, we will upload all of the new ordinances, and those will be changed generally within 30 days.
Anything else?
Nope, I don't have anything else.
Mayor, I have one item,
Sure,
just
sure.
kind of a follow-up on a discussion we had last meeting on the upcoming redistricting. John had said he would serve on a task force if we choose to go that route, and I've been looking at that map, and I think the three districts probably that would be affected most would be Dave's and mine and John's. So going forward, if we choose to go that route with a task force, I would recommend considering the three of us, if Dave's also willing to serve on it, or none of us. So either all three of us or none of us. That'd be my recommendation.
Appreciate
How do we
that.
fill the rest is, I don't know yet, but.
I think the biggest one is my district, so, I would.
There's not, it's just a committee. It's not like
Right.
you have to have certain appointments. You probably couldn't have 4 council members, though.
Yeah, that probably.
Probably not.
Appreciate that input.
Why don't you three guys go ahead and do that?
I think so too. You guys are most winner.
We got it.
You want to do it?
Yeah, I'm fine with helping, yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Chad? If you want to do that, that'd be the best way to go. Have your input.
Probably, when did you say the deadline? Sometime in '22?
It's at the end of
December.
December of '22. We got a lot of time.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more information from the census that's available, and
Yeah.
we got to pull all that information together, make sure we.
And then would Amy Kippenbrock be involved in that also? Or
That's where pulling that committee together is important, to get all the right people in it, potentially.
I think that's a good idea, Chad, since it affects you directly.
Dave needs to grow. He doesn't have enough people.
I just want the smart ones.
This is Jasper, Dave. You're all smart.
You're all smart. That's right. Is there anything else that needs to come?
Yeah, I do have one thing. AIM came on, told us there's a big push for business, personal property, to eliminate that in this coming session. Just so you kind of get an idea, the city of Jasper would lose $1.3 million out of our property tax budget.
AIM is not pushing it.
No.
The industry's pushing it.
Against it. But this kind of, to let everybody know, if you talk to any of our members or anything like that, to let them know kind of where we're at with that. We've got a lot of heavy industry in the city of Jasper. They have a lot of the inventory. It would be a big hit for us.
Mark Messmer's aware.
I would assume Mark Messmer's
Yeah.
there, and
Mark has taken a position that he would like to defer and not do anything this year on it, which I support. I think it needs to sort out, and there needs to be some time to figure out where replacement revenue might come from for cities and towns like us. I mean, if it was passed today, it would have to fall back, the struggle is, it would fall back on property tax owners, but there's caps on property tax.
right.
We cut our budgets.
Just lose revenue is what you do.
$1.3 million in cuts,
You'd have to lose services.
so that's a bunch. And I think Mark is approaching it correctly, and I'm supporting his debate up there. I haven't talked to Representative Lindar, but Senator Messmer seems to be supportive.
Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up, Alan.
All right, well, any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Kevin, a second from John. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.